Hey guys, what's up? So I had a Baptist show up at my door earlier today to try to convince me to join her church and her religion. This isn't the first time this has happened, and it most likely won't be the last. I had a good long conversation with her. My cross-breaking days are, for the most part, behind me, and I tried to be nice, while at the same time letting her know in little statements here and there that I really am not going to join her religion, and I've happened to find a lot of, shall we say, inconsistencies with it. A lot of things that don't make much sense with basic reflection. And she, of course, didn't accept it, but whatever. I wasn't there to change her mind. I was there to let her at least walk away with certain questions in her head. I'm not really going to be going into what we discussed, but I want to talk about something that gets me about religious people. It's one of the major reasons why I simply cannot walk along with them. No matter how many places we may, intersect, whatever we happen to agree with, ultimately I can't follow them for one very simple reason. It's a very simple word, and that's certainty. See, one thing that I always will agree with whenever I'm dealing with certain religious people, and they always seem to think that somehow it means that they got one up on me, is that I'm not certain about a lot of things. Are you certain you're going to go to heaven? No, but then again, I'm not even certain there is one to begin with, and quite frankly, I'm leaning that there really isn't one. But I don't know for sure. I have enough honesty in myself, and I'm secure in my own existence, that I can say that I'm not certain about these things. Religious people tend to not be comfortable with uncertainty, particularly the fanatics. They have to be certain. And I can understand that, because there's a lot of things in life going day to day that I also want to be certain about. If I decide, for instance, that I want to invest in a certain amount of stock, I want to have just enough certainty that the stock isn't going to bankrupt me. But you never know. It could. That's why there's risk. But as human beings with our limited intellects and our limited capacity to fully understand what's around us, especially since our brains happen to be illusion machines to begin with, we can't truly be 100% certain of anything. This is why we develop things like logic and reason and the sciences and the things that, the basic rules that make up those fields to help us understand the world around us. Those particular things understand the limits of human intellect, which is why they've come up with certain ways of figuring out what the truth is. But even then, we always work with probability. At the end, we happen to say something is true if it's highly probable that it must be true. If it's highly improbable of that, then we happen to disregard it. This is one of the major things that people tend to not understand when we're dealing with religion, and we happen to say things like, yeah, most likely your God doesn't exist, or yeah, most likely your religion is wrong, because the probability of these particular things that you believe in are, well, suspect. They don't add up. It's highly improbable that these things happen the way that you think that they happen. It's highly improbable that the world works the way that you think it works. I'm talking about, of course, religious types. But the woman at my door, as far as many other people, kept talking about how certain they were that they were going to heaven. And the reason why they were so certain was because, well, they believed in the Bible, which, here we go again. You have to roll your eyes at that. It's just a book, but they're certain that it's not. You tell them it's just a book, blasphemy, how dare you? But do you have anything to prove to me that it's not just a book? I mean, all we really have to go on is what you say and what people who are trying to force you to believe their religion is saying and what the book itself says. That doesn't mean shit. I mean, hell, got this book here. It's a little instruction manual for Diablo 2, and there's little jabs in here talking about how great an experience this game's going to be, but I don't really know for certain until I experience the game for myself and find out if it really is a great experience, which I'll agree with them. It is. I love Diablo 2, but that's besides the point. The point is that you need something else other than people's word that something is necessarily true, that you're certain that it's true. Okay, the Bible says certain things are true, but we've tested certain things in there and we found that it is not true. There's a lot in there that we can look at and go, no, that's not the way it works. No, that's not what really happened. No, this person really didn't do that. I've even caught her, not to keep going back to that, but I even caught her in one part when she was trying to go with that quote in Isaiah about proving that, you see, this truly was Jesus, they described him coming. And they talk about how a son's going to be born, and they're going to call him the Prince of Peace, and they're going to call him the Almighty Father, and they're going to, call him the Great Mediator and all that. And I said to her, wait a second. Number one, they didn't mention him by name. Two, it says in here that, he's going to have the government on his shoulder, and he's going to be called the Almighty Father. Last I checked, you guys called Jesus the Son of God. And there was no government upon his shoulder. In fact, he wasn't able to establish a government at all. They killed him. This doesn't fit your description. She went on to another point. See, that's the funny thing. Whenever you're wholeheartedly trying to believe something, or whatever you're trying to convince yourself that you're certain of something, you will disregard certain things that kind of throw that certainty into question. And that's the funny thing I find about this. The people who can admit, at least from my own understanding, from my own experience, I've noticed that the people who can admit that they're not necessarily certain of things seem to be a lot more secure of their life and in themselves than the people who walk around saying that they're 100% certain of things. But they seem to be the ones who are constantly trying to convince other people of what they're certain about. I'm certainly not going door to door trying to tell people what my beliefs are and trying to tell them this is a belief you should follow. But it's the 100% certain people who show up at my freaking door trying to convince me of their shit. It seems to be, to me, that it's more that they're trying to convince themselves rather than me. I mean, they want me to be convinced. That way, through me, they can be, certain of their own beliefs. But I don't have any such need to do that. Now, it's funny. She tried to twist that around. She was like, you see, it's because you're not certain that you're going door to door. And I says, well, yeah, but not for the reason that you're thinking. See, even if I knew everything there was to know about everything in the universe, I still wouldn't be going door to door telling people about it. You want to know why? Because of the discussion we had at the door. I pointed out things that she was wrong about, and she still wouldn't accept it. So why would I waste my time if I knew the truth trying to convince to a bunch of ignorant idiots what the truth is? Most human beings wouldn't accept it or believe it. The smart thing to do is to keep it to yourself and let other people figure it out on their own, because you're just making yourself a target when you go out there trying to tell people shit. Or let me give you a good example. If I went on national TV and trying to convince the idiots out there in this country that this country really wasn't founded on Christian values, and I came up with proof of it, such as bringing up the Treaty of Tripoli or bringing up the fact that the way religion works and the way this government works doesn't really fly. I mean, hell, is there any voting going on in churches for you to tell what laws are going to be in the Ten Commandments or not? No. But if I went on national TV and said this, I'd be vilified. People say I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. I'd be un-American. My words would go unheeded. And then it would actually cement in many people's minds to never believe that this country wasn't founded on Christian values. So I'd be wasting my time. So it's funny. And the funny thing is, I'm still able to admit that, hey, I might be wrong about that. Who knows? Somebody might one day happen to come with a document showing that, hey, most of what we believe about Christianity is wrong. They were a democratic group of people, and God says that every now and then his angels and the people in heaven can vote on things. And we got the proof right here, and we got other people who actually seen it. We got videotape stuff like that. And then I'll go, oh, okay, I'm wrong. I guess this country is founded on Christian values. Who knows? But I'm willing to do that. See, whenever people are able to come to me with proof of something, real evidence of something, I'm willing to change my mind. Because again, I'm not willing to say I'm 100% certain of anything. It's that uncertainty that allows me to go around and research stuff and try to find out new things. Because if I'm 100% certain about something, why am I going to research it? I know it already. Which is the problem with many religious people. They know it already, even though they don't. It's funny, they will admit to you that they don't know everything about everything, but at the same time they're trying to convince you that you need to listen to them because they know what it takes to get into heaven or to save your soul. But just that you didn't know everything about everything. Well, I'm certain about this. Are you? Just because the book says so? Seems kind of flimsy to me. You wouldn't use that same amount of reasoning if you went out to buy a car. This ad says that this car is the greatest car in the world. This ad says it, and the people who sell the cars says it. So you have to believe them. That's 100% certainty right there. I got the ad, I got the brochure, I got the book they wrote, and they're the ones saying too that the car is the greatest. I have to believe that shit. Sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? But this is exactly what your religious people do with your Bible or your Quran or whatever religious book you happen to be holding on to. This book says it, the guys who wrote the book said it, and the guys who championed the book said it, so it must be true. and you're 100% certain of it, which is why you're at my door trying to convince me. It's pathetic, really, if you stop and think. Just a moment, just sit down and ask yourself, if this was on any other topic other than religion, would this still fly? Of course it wouldn't. And the funny thing is, I'm able to say this with my uncertainty, and you guys can't accept it with your certainty, but you're the guys walking around always talking about, we need answers. Now, what you guys really need are questions. Lots of them. You need to start embracing the questions instead of jumping toward the answers, because I notice you guys still can't seem to sleep at night very comfortably with the answers you have. Otherwise, you wouldn't be at my door telling me to join your church. You wouldn't be trying to convince people of your religion. You'd be comfortable in your knowledge and you just let it be. If people happen to come to you later on asking, then you can tell them. But you're confident in the knowledge. I mean, we all know that math tends to be correct. We know 2 + 2 = 4. We know multiplication works. We know division works. But we're not knocking door to door trying to convince people, you need to learn this freaking math. You got schools set up and people go to the schools and they learn there. Oh, and I know the one excuse I've heard before about people trying to go door to door to save souls. If you had the cure for cancer, wouldn't you want to tell everybody? Yeah, but I'm not going to be knocking door to door to tell people. I'll say, hey, look, here's the cure for cancer. If you want it, come get it. That's what we normally do. You go to the place. You don't advertise. You tell people, sure, here, this is what you need. This is the nutrition you need, or this is the medicine you need. Come here and get it. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to sell it, but I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm talking about. It's like, here it is. If you need it, it's here. Come get it. Not, here it is. You better take this shit. Shove this shit down your throat. Come on now. That points to insecurity. That you need to convince yourself that it's good, so let's force everybody out there to accept it, and then they'll all say it, and I'll be comfortable saying it too. That could be why you guys have to go to church every Sunday. Because it's a recharge. You go to church, you're told all this stuff, you feel great. Then Monday comes, Tuesday comes, Wednesday comes. You're living everyday real life, and the cracks in the armor are beginning to show because the back of your mind is telling you real life isn't reflecting what we learned in church. That could be why now, especially with that church where that woman came from, they're starting to have meetings on Wednesdays now. You need a recharge. So you go on Wednesday now and get that little great feeling, and then you have enough to keep you going until Sunday when you need that recharge again. I don't need that. Many others don't either. With our uncertainty, we're able to go through life every day. We're able to wake up, brush our teeth, tie our shoes. We don't need something to be certain in to keep going. But you guys do. You should question yourselves why that is. It would say a lot about what you know and what you don't know. But are you brave enough to ask yourself those questions? Yeah. Anyway, catch you guys later.